This is MJ. I'm an author, I'm an artist, I'm an analyzer. Find all my work at mjmunoz.com. Henshin Inspection presents Rider Tears. I will be discussing the bad and good of Kamen Rider Geats Episode 1 and the true enemy Ace will face. Kamen Rider Geats Episode 1, Dawn F, Invitation to be a Rider. Originally aired September 4, 2022. The writer is Yuya Takahashi of X8 and 01, which I will touch on later. And the director is Shojiro Nakazawa. Shelly Fall. Sorry. That's a deep cut for any of you Sam Raimi or Bruce Campbell fans. You'll know exactly what I was trying to say there. Here we go. The bad thing I didn't like, and there was really only one big bad thing I didn't like, and it was that the fortress didn't work for me. I don't like Castle Doran from Keiwa. I don't like the big gigantic monsters. Gaim had that eldritch deer thing because it ate a strawberry fruit, I think, in the first episode, or maybe it was the second episode. Regardless, it wasn't good. This looked bad here. By the way, I hate Gaim and I love Keiwa, so I'm giving a criticism to this show that I've given to shows that I feel totally opposite about, and just to let you know, it could go either way. It could go either way. Anyway, I like things leading up to it, but the idea of the giant castle thing just didn't do it for me. So, moving on to the good stuff. Geats is thrilling in action, and by that I mean actual Kamen Rider Geats, Ace, whatever his name is. Ace, what's his face? Yeah, he's just like, I don't know, I kept thinking, this is the most American Kamen Rider I've ever seen, and I was so proud because he had his gun and he was shooting bad guys, and it was amazing. And I don't know, it's so stupid. It made me feel like a tiny bit patriotic, or not patriotic, but just like, yes, guns are a great weapon. You should definitely use them. But you know, it wasn't just him shooting people that excited me. It was him shooting lots of people. No, but seriously. The gun thing is cool. That Magnum is dope. So we haven't seen the little pistol Magnum thing that he had, but he had that, like, I don't know if it's supposed to be like an AR-15 or a carbine. I'm not like a gun. I'm not like a real gun guy. Like, I could name a couple by sight, and that's about it. And I've shot a few, but I'm not like, you know, I'm also not a car guy, but that doesn't mean I don't like my, you know, jalopy that I'm driving right now. It gets me from point A to B, and basically I want a gun to get a bullet from point A to point B, and that's all I really care about. So I don't have much to say other than I like this guy. I like how shooty he is. I mean, he is, you know, Magnum form, so I guess it makes sense that he's shooting. But anyway, that was just thrilling. Oh, I forgot to say, Chainsaw Buffalo, or Buffa or whatever, is a delight. Man, that chainsaw sword thing that he's got going on, beautiful. I love all the purple. If you know, see my show notes and you see other stuff, there's purple all over mjmunoz.com because I really dig purple and high contrast with black and white and stuff. It's a good look, and I think Buffa looks dope. The only thing I don't like about Buffa is his eyes. They're like ninja star, you know, shuriken type things, and that doesn't really make sense to me. I don't know if that's a feature of the zombie thing. I thought that was supposed to be his like natural eye shape, which doesn't make sense to me. Although the bear, whether it was a polar bear or if it's a bear and you can skin it white as a polar bear, white and black as a panda, brown as a, you know, big brown bear or whatever. I don't know if that's the idea behind his design, but like his, you know, one circle eye and one star eye, like, I don't know, that was kind of weird, didn't really do it for me. That wasn't on my notes, and I'm supposed to be talking about the good stuff, but yeah, Buffalo guy got me on a bit of a tangent there. So I'll move into some questions I have about the show, and then I'll let you know my score for episode 1 of Geats. So, here are my questions. Will there be a big shakeup in 6 months based on the DGP or the Desire Grand Prix taking 6 months? Or will time skew to the release schedule of the show? I don't know. In my opinion, you could have a 54-episode show that takes place during one 24-hour period. Although, I guess, well, whatever. I'm not going to talk about that. Next thing is, where does this DGP... I mean, it's going to take me a while to get used to saying that. Where does this DGP power come from? Who benefits from it? What's behind the scenes, or who's behind the scenes, you know, granting wishes and granting the power to change the world and stuff? Like, there's got to be something going on with that, right? Because I thought this was just supposed to be like an AR type game, although maybe I was thinking about Don Bros. But I just thought it was a game, like a video game competition thing, kind of like what they touched on in spoilers for Kamen Rider X8 and Kamen Rider X8 with Kamen Rider Chronicle. I thought it was definitely that sort of thing, but this seems totally different. Tanuki boy, Keiwa, he seems devoid of desire, and the game is called the Desire Grand Prix, so I guess we will be dealing with the theme of desire, and I'm curious to see how that works out, but it is clearly being set up as he has the chance to be a rider now in this new world, I guess? I guess that's what's going on. Another question, if you die in the game, do you die in real life? I guess, because the game is happening in real life, maybe. It's weird because there was that section, that like Tanuki guy, and what's the idol's name, or the vlogger, whatever? It's a weird name. It's like Moon, or Rain, or Rain. I'm just a guy who's ill at ease and not good at anything but fighting. But I love you, Rain! Sorry. Check out, I don't know why I'm being so tangenty right now. Check out, King of Hearts, Queen of Sorrow, my analysis of every single episode of Mobile Fighter G Gundam. It's fabulous. Anyway, the show's fabulous, and I think my analysis of it is a lot of fun. So, anyway, sorry for that tangent, slash ad for another thing I've done. But anyway, moving on. Yeah, I cannot remember her name right now. It's like, anyway, I'm not going to belabor it, but you know who I'm talking about. The rich vlogger lady who's trying to be homeless. She's going to be, I don't know, Kamen Rider Neko or Cat or whatever she's going to be in the next episode. And Raccoon Guy is going to be Tycoon, because I guess Raccoon and Tycoon sound familiar. Whatever. It's Tanuki in Japanese, I believe. Anyway, yeah, and then, like, you know, the world was destroyed. We saw Buffa Guy come back. He was getting held or handed out a driver at the end of the episode, so I think he'll be back. But the guy who was, he was a good-looking guy. He was like the bear one. He ended up getting killed, but does he come back? I don't know. I don't know how this thing works. And then last question is this new game a new game plus for Geats himself, for Ace? It might be. I wouldn't assume that as the winner he'd lose his memories in this new world, and he seemed to be celebrating the fact that it was a new world and stuff, so it definitely seems like what was going on. So, my score for this episode is 7 out of 10. And while I said positive things about it, that might seem a little low to you. I'll explain why. The action was cool, but the story was a little thin. There are lots of questions and some intrigue as we just witnessed the death and rebirth of a world, but it didn't really connect emotionally with me. I want to know more. I like Geats, but he also feels like the villain in some ways, more so than the hero, which is part of the intrigue. So, like I said, Ace seems like a good guy. He didn't seem to be doing stuff just for the points, which is something I think Buffa said. It was kind of this thing where there's different perspectives. Like, Buffa was concerned with saving people, so that because defeating Jamatos saved the people, and that got him points. The bear guy, Buffa, like, accused of doing it to save the people, but he was just doing it for the points, or something like that in their interaction with each other. Meanwhile, Geats was he ended up saving the lady, and I guess he saved Reika. He's not, it sounds like Reiwa, because that's the era. Anyway, Reika, he saved him too, I think, but then, like, he went after the big fortress thing, and he did that and was able to win the game. So, I don't know what's going on there. So, that's how I'm feeling about it generally, and I will tell you about my reflections / predictions about the show going forward, because I have some thoughts on it. So, thinking about the character of Ace so far, and how he kind of seems like the villain of the piece, based on the little bit that we've seen, it got me thinking about Takahashi's previous heroes and villains, and especially the pairs that they made. Although, thinking about it now, I didn't compare Emu and Pallid, and I probably should have, because that's a very appropriate pairing to compare. Getting back on track, though, I was wondering what force Ace might face as the series unfolds, and I'm trying to figure out what that is, because we weren't really introduced to who the villains are. Are the Jamato just part of the game, and therefore they're not really bad or enemy combatants? They're just like NPCs that have been programmed to do these certain things that the players get to work against? I don't know. But if they're literally hurting actual people, then I mean, that would to me that would make the players the real villains, not so much the Jamatos, which are programmed and only doing what they're programmed to do, right? See what I'm saying there? And I'm trying to get, this will be getting into the lightest of spoilers for X-Aid and and the other show. I do not. Oh, and 01. So here we go. I hope you're ready for very light spoilers touching on theme and I don't know. I guess just generally what the story's about. So here we go. Kuroto Dan from X-Aid wanted to become a god. Imu, who was the hero of X-Aid, wanted to help people as a doctor, a profession which is said to make some people play at being God or being divine. You know, they'll say of a doctor, "You're playing God," right? Hirobi from 01 wanted to break free from his creators and supersede them. Aruto was the creator's son, literally, like the creator of these androids, right? He was the son or the grandson of the creator of them, and he befriended the Humagear and wanted them to be equals and wanted to have them as friends, and Hirobi had a lot of problem with that, and at the end they kind of decided or realized that in a way they were equals, both because of the potential that they had for friendship and for getting along, but also because of how they had hurt each other and how both humans and Humagears could, you know, hurt innocence of each other's race or kind, or however you want to call that. So that's the dynamics from, you know, Takahashi's 2 previous writer shows. So I want to know, is Ace basically starting off as a god? Because that might be a concept that Takahashi likes to play with. He seems to have a dual nature. He's a player of the game, a master of the game of, you know, DGP. Right? Desire Grand Prix? Yeah, DGP. Anyway, so, like, could his foe be the programmer of the game or some personification of fate? And the reason I ask about fate is because I called him Keiwa earlier. No, I can't remember what I called him. The guy's name it's Keiwa, which sounds like Reiwa, and that's the guy who ordered the Tanuki noodles and who becomes Tycoon, who's based off of a raccoon, right? Anyway, so that guy, he says that, like, basically you can't stop fate, and that, like, you have no real choices in life, so why choose or why want to choose anything? So being that he's saying that, and that this game basically allows one person to change fate for everybody in the whole world or everybody within a certain area involved with the game, I would think that maybe the real threat, the real villain, the real thing being addressed here will be some personification of fate, and that could be like the programmer of the game or something. So I don't know. It's a really weird dynamic. If that is the case, that we've got this master gamer who, you know, rewrites the world in his own image or whatever, then I don't know what the utility would be of him going against somebody who controls fate, unless he wants to show that, like, even though this guy, like, rewrites everyone else's fate, he does that as a fight against actual fate. I don't know. I'm kind of lost there. What do you think is going to be the conflict? And yeah, I'd be curious to hear what your thoughts are, anybody, on what the true source of the conflict will be, and like what Ace is supposed to be fighting against, because I can't quite tell yet. Anyway, check out Super Sentai Sanctuary for coverage of Dawn Brothers. The week this is coming out, Dawn Brothers 27, that analysis is up, as well as the analysis for Futo PI episode 6, which is going to be over on Half Boiled. You can find everything at mgmunoz.com, and yeah, I encourage you to check that out, and also stick around. I'm working on a children's picture book inspired by Godzilla, and I'm pretty excited about what's going to happen with that. It's in 2nd to 3rd draft revision by the time of this recording, and pretty soon I'll be contacting an illustrator, so you can look forward to that. I'll be trying to launch, the plan is to launch a Kickstarter to raise funds for the art, and I'd like to have stretch goals in there to fund the other books, because I'd like to do a book on inspired by the other tokusatsu greats. So anyway, stick around for that, and yeah, this is MJ, and I leave you with peace and blessings. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, you can find more at mgmunoz.com, as well as my entire library of analysis, art, and fiction.